Wrapping up a 3-game trip in Philadelphia, and they didn't have to deal with Joel Embiid, who tweaked his ankle on Wednesday. Jimmy Butler ready to go. Pick it up in the third quarter. John Collins to Trae Young.
Not impressive defensive rotation.
Not great. John Collins, you bet.
The rim is naked out there with a Joel Embiid.
Surprisingly, the 7-footer's gone and people go right at the rim.
This gets interesting. Alex Len with a little elbow against Jimmy Butler, and Butler was trying to get up to get after him. TJ McConnell just drags him away.
That's a good teammate right there, boy.
Len picked up a flagrant 1 foul, and Butler got to stay in the game. Fourth quarter, more from Young. How about the range? Gotta like that. He was 3 of 8 from the great beyond as a team. The Hawks were 12 of 25. Late, Ben Simmons to Jimmy Butler. And then Butler. Crunch time. And the finish. Seen a lot of that from him in a Sixer uniform. He had 23, 10 rebounds, 15 assists for Simmons, I should say. Kevin Huerter, new career high. 29 for the Rook. We're tied at 121. Here's Collins. Clutch.
Big shot. John Collins has been playing unbelievable basketball.
Unbelievable.
Been really good lately at 25 and 9 in this one. 5.5 to go. Butler doesn't go to the trademark step back jumper that's been so effective for him. Instead has to go to the free throw line, and that did not go well.
Neither the defense by Trae Young nor the free throw shooting going to go on the highlight tape for those two players.
And yet, they made the highlight here.
Exactly.
Atlanta wins at 123-121. Butler did get 30 along the way. Hawks shot a season high, just under 56%. And get this, for a team that is 13 and 29, the Hawks are 6 and 2 in games decided by 3 or less.
Trade target alert, Dwayne Dedmon, 19, 8, and 7.
Absolutely. He can do a lot of things for a decent team out there somewhere. Pacers and the Knicks, Victor Oladipo. Woo!
Punch.
Oh! Pacers wrapping up a 5-game road trip, their longest of the season. How about TJ Leaf? Put back dunk.
One of my favorite young guys in the league to watch the next couple of years, Griff. A lot of talent, a lot of size, and a really good opportunity for him to get
As
better.
he grows into his body, gets a little bit stronger. Right now, he's a little too top-heavy in the paint.
Knicks on the comeback. You saw Kevin Knox knock down a floater, then Tim Hardaway Jr. put the Knicks on top. Oladipo knocks down the 3 there, and it's a 10-point lead. It grew to 12 at the break. Oladipo, Domantas Sabonis.
Oh!
He's hammering it home.
Business decision made there by Noah Vonleh.
22 and 15 for Sabonis. Emmanuel Mudiay coughs it up. Oladipo throws it down. 19 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 10-point lead for the guys in gold. We got a little Shaq in a fool situation here. I mean, to be fair, he was wide open.
Wide open indeed. And by the way, give Hazonia credit. He's leading the league right now in dunk highlights that he is not responsible for
He's
dunking.
on the wrong end of those, but yeah. Tyreek Evans spins, knocks it down. He had 12, and no Miles Turner again for the 4th straight game, but Indy wins it. They've now won 15 of 19. Is there a quieter success story in the NBA right now than the Indiana Pacers?
I don't think so. And I think, Sabonis and some of these other guys on that Pacers roster, Matt, are really turning in fine seasons without a whole lot of fanfare.
And Thaddeus Young may be the most consistently sound player on a playoff team that never gets discussed at all. They managed to continue to win even in the absence of Oladipo, in large part because of how well Thaddeus played.
Knicks have lost 16 of 18, still ahead before he punched out for the night. Smitty was kind enough to leave behind his top place under the rim.
The Sixers come into tonight's game against the Hawks in 4th place in the East and sporting the NBA's best home record at 18-3. But they are one of the league's worst teams when it comes to turnovers. The Hawks lead the league with 18.7, then the Mavs, the Suns, and the 76ers. And it's ironic because a team as high in the standings as they are, and yet they're among the league leaders in turnovers. Smitty, are these turnovers a serious problem for the Philadelphia 76ers?
Anytime you have turnovers, it's a serious problem because you're giving up possessions. And I think they're not the Golden State Warriors where they can make a possession with the three ball. And I think the one thing for them is, and they're not deep enough as far as bench as of today. I look at the Philadelphia 76ers, when it comes down to
playoff series where 1 to 2 possessions can be the difference between you winning not just the game but the series, you have to value the ball. You can stay in games if you just value the ball and don't kill yourself. And making mistakes like that, and especially turnovers, that's what will happen to you.
Joel Embiid will not play tonight. J.J. Redick, however, is available after missing a couple of games. Jimmy Butler, I want to talk with you guys about him. Is he in the way, or is he making the Sixers better?
Well, he's both, because when he plays and he's not a distraction, they've been very good. And obviously we look at the type of player he is. But when he's a distraction, I look at it as Jimmy Butler's in the way, because you got to start looking at it right now is, yes, wins and losses, unless you ultimately can win a championship with Jimmy Butler being a distraction, he's going to have to find a way. And I know the last part, they've downplayed it, but it's still things keep coming up. And maybe it's the media added a little bit more to the fire. Jimmy has to find a way, and yes, that's his personality. What it comes down to now, can you have this type of personality and win games? And that's the part for me is I would say, yeah, because they're winning games. But they're not going to be judged in the regular season. They're going to be judged in the playoffs, in my opinion, B-Will.
I don't think he can continue this. I do believe he has been a distraction at times, and he's been a distraction at other stops. I believe he's a great player. He works hard. He's somebody that you want on your team, but I think this is something that he has to clean up. And this has to be a conversation that he has with himself in the mirror. He is too good to be caught up and be in these type of conversations. We shouldn't be having a conversation like this about Jimmy Butler. It should be more about his play. Unfortunately, it's been about these incidents from Minnesota to now in Philadelphia, and they don't have the type of team, and they don't have enough, I'll say, veterans to where they can survive this type of thing. They have a lot of strong presences in that locker room, a lot of strong personalities. They all need to be on the same page. Jimmy Butler doesn't need to be a distraction. And winning sometimes can be like a cologne. You can spray it on and it can cover up some of the stink of what's really going on. But at some point, that cologne's going to fade, and what really is there, you're going to smell it.
The problem I had, when we said that other day, is you have a big three in Ben Simmons, Jimmy Butler, and Joel Embiid. Ben Simmons is not a factor when you start talking about offense, and I'm not saying because he couldn't shoot the basketball. He's a big point guard who wants to pass. There's no doubt the number one option is Joel Embiid. So you're the second option, and there's nothing wrong with that. And if you're a great player, B Wood, throw it to me early. I can make plays off a catch and shoot. B Wood, give it to me, go one-on-one. B Wood gives it to me. But if he's Joel Embiid, I'm going through him, and I'm going to play off him. Whatever numbers I get, long as we're winning, it shouldn't be anything talked about offense.
And to your point, the numbers are still there for Jay. It's not like Embiid's going to score 50 points a game. The numbers can still be there for Jimmy. And the Sixers, who are looking up in the standings at the Bucks. And, guys, they enter tonight's game against the Wizards in Washington with the best winning percentage in the league at .725. They're 29-11. And here's why. Third in offensive rating, third in defensive rating, and first in net rating. B. Wood, can the Bucks make it to the NBA Finals?
Yes, the Bucks can make it to the NBA Finals. We have seen this type of system that Coach Bud had work in Atlanta, and Atlanta had a great run, and Atlanta had a chance to make it deep into the playoffs. They just ran into that guy, I think you know his name, LeBron James? Yeah, that's his name. The big guy in Cleveland used to wear the headband. Long story short is they couldn't get past that guy because Atlanta, as good as they were, they didn't have the best player in the series. Guess what Coach Bud has now? The Greek Freak, a guy in the name of Giannis Antetokounmpo. He can be the best player in a series. He can take over a series in multiple ways. He guards multiple positions. He can score the ball. He rebounds the ball, and defensively he can clean up things with block shots. So they can run their same ball movement style. They can attack you with Giannis. They're spreading you out to the three-point line. Oh, they have a stretch five in Brook Lopez that creates these huge gaps that Giannis and everybody else can drive through. And they have one of the most slept-on players in the league in Malcolm Brogdon on their team. And he, with his shooting ability and the way he gives them another point guard on the floor, he eases some of that pain offensively as well. I think they can definitely make a run.
I look at it as they make a run. If one thing for me is Chris Middleton has to be like Chris Middleton was last year. And people don't understand it's a slight move that Bud made. It's a sacrifice on Chris Middleton. It is totally a different position when you play the 2 and the 3. So now he's at the 3 with Brogdon starting and also Bledsoe. If he can get his confidence back and get a reason why he's able to be consistent at the 3, it's totally different. I played the 2. and there's a little bit of shooting over guys at the 2, right? I got to pick up the 1 at times. When you're at that 3 and B. Wood is at the 4 and I got to pick up 4s and I got to shoot over taller guys, it makes it a little bit different. I got to see Chris Middleton get comfortable like he was last year, then I think they have a chance.
So James Harden, as we shift
continue to move forward as long as everything's feeling good. So we're not. Our thoughts right now are on the Utah Jazz and really how we're going to try to win this game tonight. And we have all the confidence that LeBron and Mike, who's back with them, and the rest of the trainers he's working with right now are getting him healthy.
Hello again, basketball fans. Welcome to Game Time Live, presented by State Farm. Rick Campbell with champions, Steve Smith and Brendan Haywood. We're here on a 9-game Friday, and we just heard from Lakers coach Luke Walton about LeBron James, who's missed the past 8 games with a strained left groin. He is going to miss, as we have heard, at least the next 3 games. So, guys, let's take a look at the Lakers' next 7 games. So, we know he's not playing tonight. He's not playing Sunday against the Cavs. He's not playing Tuesday against the Bulls. He might be able to return Thursday at OKC on TNT. How many wins do you see here, Smitty and B. Wood?
You talking about those first 3 games, or are you talking about this 7-game run
thing
right here? I see right now, if he's not back, that's a tough stretch when you start talking about at Thunder, at Rockets, and Warriors. So if without LeBron James, out of the 7, I see them winning 3.
And I see it like a spades hand. I see 3 in the possible. There's a possibility tonight against the Utah Jazz, and then you see teams like the Cavs on there, the Bulls, and the Timberwolves. So I see 3 in the possible.
I got 3.
So, LeBron James, as we say, he may be able to come back next Thursday. There's no promises on that. And as Luke Walton said, he's working with his team to try to get back. This injury obviously dates back to Christmas. So, B. Wood, I'll start with you. How long can the Lakers afford to be without LeBron James and still realize their goals of making the playoffs?
Well, I think it comes down to, first of all, how good this team continues to play and which Lakers team we see. Are they going to be the team that, didn't perform well? They're going to be the team that gets these W's. But at the end of the day, I think by the time, if he's back by the time they play Minnesota or sometime before that, I think they'll be just fine. And if they can find a way to hover around 500 in those games, because right now they're 23-19, they're sitting in the 8th place. If they can hover around 500 as far as those wins in those next couple of games, they'll be fine. But the problem is that they snowball and they lose a bunch of games in a row. You know how it is in the West. It's not like the East. In the West, if you lose 3 or 4 games in a row, you can go from 8th to 13th really, really quickly.
Yeah, and I look at it, B. Wood said it best. The one thing is I think they have to fight against is, and I know LeBron James won't rush back, but do you want 100%, not 100%, a healthy LeBron James coming back, whether that's 10 games from now, 15 games from now, or if you bring him back too early? So they're going to have to wait, and I know LeBron will wait. B. Wood said it best. They got to hover around 500, especially in these next 7 games. In 10 games, they got to go right at least 500, because in the Western Conference, you lose 5 games. But if you lose 7 or 8, you could be sitting around 13th, 14th in the West.
Check out this intrigue tonight in Utah. The Jazz come in 9th place. The Lakers are in 8th place, separated by 2 games. But let's talk LeBron and DMPs and possible MVP. Of course, last year played all 82 games. This year he has missed 8. He's going to miss at least 3 more. That puts it at 11. Here are the fewest games played by an NBA MVP. Walton, back in 77-78, played 58. Iverson, 71. Harden last year, 72. And Nash in 04-05 played 75. Just don't ask Shaq about that. So how many games, Smitty, can LeBron miss and still win MVP?
Bill Walton played only 58, right? So I'm looking at it. Bill Walton played 58. I think for LeBron, reasonably, I think he can't miss more than 15 games. But the numbers he's put up, if he can come back and he's only missed 15 games and they can shoot up to around 3rd place in the West, and he put up tremendous numbers, he has a chance. But there's some other guys, no matter what, and all the other guys we talked about MVP. But I think 15 is the number for me, B. Wood.
Yeah, I think I'm right in there with you. Somewhere between 15. They might give him 20 just because he's LeBron, if he's doing something spectacular. Like if he were to get the Lakers, let's say, to the 3rd seed or the 2nd seed, something that we did not foresee at the beginning of the season, and he missed 20 games, I think he'd have a really strong shot at it. But I'm with you. I think it's that number's closer to 15. But more importantly, the Lakers have to win basketball. They can't be the 8th seed or the 7th seed. They have to be somewhere within the top 4 to even have a chance, because there's a lot of really deserving candidates when you start talking about Kawhi and Giannis and Harden. There's some big names, Paul George.
Jokic.
The Joker's in there. I don't think he really has a true shot to get it, but I think he's up there.
Oh, I'm with
Do you
B.
think he
Wood.
has a true shot to get it?
He's playing extremely well. And let's not say we're not saying he's not playing well, but I think when you just start to come down to being realistic, unless he can go on a tremendous run, I think he's played extremely well. They have to stay in first or second for him to get it. But when you start looking at those big names, it's going to be Harden, Giannis, Kawhi, all those guys. I don't think he has a shot.
When you say that Jokic probably can't get it, it's not disrespecting him. He is doing phenomenal things. 18 and 10, 7 assists, helping lead this team even though they've been through a lot of injuries. The thing is, there's a lot of other guys on really good teams that have these incredible numbers. When you talk about Giannis, Giannis is 27 and 13, and they're the best record in the NBA. And then you have what Kawhi Leonard is doing from a two-way standpoint and still getting you 26 points per game. And Toronto's playing well. So the Joker's in the mix somewhere, probably top 7 to 8.
7, 8, yeah.
But when you talk about actually winning the award, it's going to be hard, unless he goes on a run like Smitty said, because he's going to have to get his numbers into that category. MVP isn't just about wins. It's normally about the best combination of next level stats combined with the wins, and that's how you get your MVP.
I totally agree with that outlook on MVP. And the Sixers come into tonight.